What's up, guys? And today I've got 5 more really good performing decks from Darkmoon Faire. And in the last video, a lot of people asked about a specific number of decks that didn't make the cut, and the truth is there are just a lot of decks that are doing really well right now. In the early days of the expansion, a lot of unrefined decks can get away with not running the exact best cards, and today I've got 5 decks that all feature new cards and are guaranteed going to do pretty good on ladder up to very good. So first, let's talk about Darkglare Disco Lock, and basically this just kind of combines the hybrid things that are good about Disco Lock with a few small things that are good about Darkglare. I've found that Darkglare is a little bit rough these days and especially hard to recommend to others because of how difficult it is to play, but this deck is super simple to play. You discard stuff, you put stuff on board, and then you play Wicked Whispers. You get a chance to run the new card. I actually did fool around a lot with Boneweb Egg in the deck, but Lasagna recommended me this version of the deck, and I just found that it had a better win rate. You can try swapping in a Lotheb for Tiny Knight of Evil if you have it, but you certainly don't need it at all. And in general, this just poops out a bunch of stats on board very quickly. So it's powerful, it's cheap compared to a lot of other decks in Wild, and it absolutely gets the job done. So next up, we have Memnarch's Galacron Warrior, and he actually was hovering around top 10 Legend with this list. It's pretty similar to lists of old, but it does run one new card, which is Ringmaster Watley, and because it draws a Mech, Dragon, and Pirate, you get to draw a Scion, you get to draw some sort of low-cost Pirate, and you get to draw your Clockwork Goblins as well. So all of those cards are cards that you want throughout the course of the matchup, and it thins your deck so that you get more of the cards that you need later on. Overall, this deck is just solid. It beats up on Reno decks, it has game against aggro decks, and it's not the highest power level deck card for card, but it happens to be good against what we're seeing in Wild right now. Barov provides a one-time board clear, which is super solid, and I think that was an intelligent addition to this list. I think Rami was the first one to do it who brought it over from Standard. Very smart move on his part. And next up we have Ticktus Renolock, and this is actually Frobro's list that he was also hovering around top 10 Legend with. Now, I wouldn't necessarily build this list exactly the same way, but he's had a lot of success getting Ticktus out early, and against me he's done it a number of times and it's pretty much always game winning when he does do it. So the way it works is it uses Demonic Studies to discount Ticktus, and then if you play any 6-cost card, you can play Ticktus on 7, or you can just play him on, I think, as early as 8 with Bran and the Demonic Studies discount. So there are a lot of crazy stuff you can do with this deck. It also runs Cascading Disaster, which I haven't seen played at all, so I don't know what his sense of how good the deck is, but the results do speak for themselves, and I think this deck is a lot of fun. If you unpack Ticktus, it might not be ultimately the list that we settle on, but it is performing well, so at least you have something. So at least you have that going for you if you play the deck. I can't promise that it's tier 1 or anything, but it's definitely probably tier 2 or higher. And let's say you have basically no new dust for this expansion, but you want to play something that will win anyway. Well, Odd Demon Hunter is back, and we figured out that because of Acrobatics and Stilt Stepper, if you just jam-pack your deck full of 1-cost cards, your opponent just dies sometimes. And sometimes they don't, but if they don't, it's only going to take a couple minutes. So if you want a fast Legend Climb deck, you want a fast Diamond 5 deck, this is a great deck to play because a lot of decks are just not equipped to out-heal this damage. Mana Burn is just stupid, and Acrobatics and Stilt Stepper are also stupid when built with a deck like this. And last, but certainly not least, this is a deck you've seen many times before, but yeah, I can't believe it either, they made Aggro Druid better. And so we actually have 2-mana Fungalmancer now with Wriggling Horror. 2-mana cards are hard to come by these days, but in this case, it makes so much sense to run this card because, again, it's 2-mana Fungalmancer. We're missing, what, +2/+2 worth of stats on the buff and 1 health on the minion, but it costs 3 less? Yeah, we'll take that. So this is basically Power of the Wild on a stick in some cases, Mark of the Lotus on a stick, and then you just Mark of the Lotus that, or Power of the Wild that. It's very strong. We do have to cut the narrow bar Weblords for it, but any card that advances our game plan more instead of stalling our opponent's game plan sometimes is just going to be a better card for us. So I've been trying this out. It's not great into Priest, and there's a lot of Priest around right now. But if you don't see a ton of Priest, like you're only seeing Priest 1 in 5 games or less than that, jam this deck. I mean, pretty much nobody can stop this. It's very good, and it's the deck that you already know, you already have it, you might already love it or hate it, but it got a new card, so those are 5 new overperforming decks that you can also use to advance your rank here in Wild. Thank you so much for watching the video. If you liked it, or if these videos have been helpful to you in reaching Legend, achieving your goals, or whatever, then make sure to support it by liking, comment, subscribing, follow me on Twitch, and you can also subscribe with Twitch Prime for free if you have that. Thanks, guys, and I'll see you on ladder.